call this May 12th, 2025, public hearing executive session of the Planning Commission to order. Purpose of this meeting is to hear and act on requests for changes in zoning and special procedures. Please call the roll, please.
Mr. Taylor,
Here.
Ms. Hart,
Here.
Ms. Hancock,
Here.
Mr. Bedell, Mr. Fagan, Ms. Williams.
Here.
Mr. Chair, you do not have a quorum, but one is not required for public hearing.
Thank you very much. With that, I'd like to welcome you to the St. Louis Planning Commission public hearing and executive session. This meeting is for the purpose of hearing presentations on petitions for rezoning or requests for special procedure permits. I'm Keith Taylor, Chair of the Commission, in addition to the other members of the Planning Commission that are here tonight. I would also like to introduce to my right Jacob Trimble, Director of Planning, and the planners assigned to the petition that are to our left. I hope you've picked up a copy of the public hearing guideline brochure and tonight's public hearing notice, which are on the table just outside the door. The brochure describes the format we will use for the meeting, and the agenda lists the order in which we will hear the petitions. If you wish to speak, please fill out a speaker attendance card indicating the petition you are here for. If you speak, please give your card to me as you approach the chambers. The card includes a QR code that you can scan to subscribe to the Planning Commission agenda. By doing this, you will be able to access a copy of the Commission's report when it goes to the County Council. The Commission will not make a decision on every petition here this evening. Typically, the Commission will receive staff reports and make a decision on tonight's petitions at the next executive meeting in June. Additional comments, letters, and petitions submitted to the Department of Planning within the 2 weeks of this meeting by May 26, 2025, and will be distributed to the Planning Commissioners in their executive meeting agenda packet. Written comment can be sent via email to planning@stlouiscountymo.gov. If additional information is required, the decision may be delayed. The Planning Commission's recommendations will then forward to the County Council, who has a responsibility for the final decision. The meeting will be observed in the following guidelines. Planning staff will introduce the petition and show photos of the site. Then the petitioner will present the request. They will be allowed 15 minutes. Then persons in favor of the request will speak, and that person in opposition or with concern. Persons speaking as an individual will be allowed 2 minutes. Persons representing groups will be allowed 5 minutes. Please keep your remarks brief and avoid repetitive and seconding presentations. After all opposition speakers have spoken, the petitioner will be allowed 5 minutes to answer questions and points raised by other speakers. The Commission may ask questions of any speaker. After each petition is heard tonight, I will ask for a show of hands by persons in favor, in opposition, and with concern. This is not a vote and is not binding on the Commission or the County Council. The purpose is to make the crowd count for part of the record for each petition. And the first petition heard tonight will be PC 11-25, Mid-America Hotels Corporation. Is the
Good evening, Commissioners. So to start off tonight, we have PC 11-25 Mid-America Hotel Corporation. So this is a request for a C8 to C4 commercial. We're looking at 1.77 acre tract here. This is in the southwest quadrant of Butler Hill Road and Mid-America Plaza, just east of Interstate 55. So here we can see a map to your right, which is of the general location, and then to the left is the county-wide map. You can see it. It is just in South County next to the Interstate 55 Shield logo in the south of the map. Here's a second map showing a larger area surrounding the tract. And here is the land use surrounding the tract. Here is the public hearing sign and a view to the southeast. There's a view of the tract facing east down Butler Hill Road. Here is the tract facing west down Butler Hill. This is north facing, looking across Butler Hill. This is south looking into the site. North looking into the site. And next I would ask the petitioners to present. The
down button?
Yes.
Thank you.
We get your card, please.
Yes, sir. Good evening. I'm Mark Doring, president and only employee at Doring Engineering these days. And I once thought I'd be retired at this point, but obviously I'm not. But my wife's enjoying the retirement.
I was
in
gonna say,
Florida today while I'm up.
Point of order, what did you do with Brenda?
She is down in
She's not on the
Florida
books?
today. But anyway, so, and I do want to thank each of you again for the nice presentation that you made to me in December. That was extremely nice and thoughtful, and that was special to me. Thank you. So anyway, with that being said, the down button. This evening, we're here with Mid-America Hotel Corp. And with me this evening, starting on my left, is Paul James. Paul's been with Mid-America Hotel Corporation, which is owned by the Drurys, not the Drurys of St. Louis, but the Drurys out of Cape Girardeau. Paul's been with them since 1979. So Paul's here. And next to him is Diane Drury. Diane's been with them for, I can't say how old you are.
76.
for about 29 years, and then real estate agent Steve Bond here. So Mid-America Hotel Corp., they have Drury restaurants, Holiday Inn Express, Hampton Inn, Auburn Place, Burger Kings, and Fairfield Hotels. They are a first-class organization. They only do nice things, and you can see that at the corner that we're at 55 and Butler Hill, because they own several buildings that are just extremely well done, and they do a very nice job. So again, Mid-America Hotel Corp. is family-owned. They do quality projects, quick service food, and hospitality services. Established in 1978. I can't see that far anymore. And the headquarters again in Cape Girardeau. Doring Engineering has had the privilege and pleasure to work with them since 1993. So they've been a great client, and when they tell me they do something, they do it. It's just been a wonderful relationship. Tonight, we're here to request to zone lots 1 and 2 of the Mid-America Center Plaza from C8, which was done in 2022, back to the previous C4 zoning, which was the entire tract was zoned to C4 in 2007. So we're just asking to undo what happened in 2022, and we'll go into that in a moment. The reason for this request, back to the C4 again, is Mid-America decided not to go forward with the C8 zoning in 2022, but did not realize and were not counseled that they had to request for the petition to be withdrawn, and the petition, and it made it way down to county council, and it actually got put through as a C8. So what am I talking about? So this is the intersection of 55 and Butler Hill north is straight up. That's Interstate 55, and there's Butler Hill, South County. And over here to the right, to the east, is Lee May Ferry. This is Mid-America Center Plaza. It's a platted plaza. It got platted. We did it back in the 90s, okay? And today we're talking about these two lots. There's lots 1 and 2, 1.77 acres. Again, we'd like to see it zoned back to match the zoning that was granted to this parcel in 2007. So we're asking to go back to the C8 Highway Service Commercial District regulations, and brief explanation of that. And I better read it from here because my eyes are going. But if you look in the county zoning ordinance, a C4 Highway Service Commercial District encompasses areas adjacent to major or arterial highways wherein certain commercial activities are regulated in such a manner that will reduce conflicts, congestions, and other hazards related to high volume and high speed traffic on the highways. It is the purpose of these regulations to encourage the establishment of certain highway services commercials activities while prohibiting those uses which provide no important service to highway users. So we're right at the corner of 55 and Butler Hill, so we kind of really pass this here definition because we're right on the interstate itself with the first exit to the east. Examples of permitted land use in a C4 for this district are filling stations, and you're allowed to have a C-store up to 5,000 square feet, hotels and motels, offices or office buildings, parking areas, and restaurants, which is the way this project's being developed, and we plan on doing that in the future. So we believe that C4 zoning as granted to this parcel in 2007 is a reasonable zoning. Back to our picture here. Again, here's the Mid-America Plaza Center, 11 acres. And again, that was done in 2007. And there we go. Just to take a couple look at the parcels around. That was, that's Oak Garden Apartments there. In front of there is the Phillips 66. Out there is the proposed Quick Trip. And right here is Washington University's Children's Hospital. To the south of that is the Cudis Funeral Home. And then we have Pepper Tree Square Apartments here. That's the only non-commercial thing that touches our tract. And there's a large buffer of many trees between us and the actual units, as you can see. Over here is the Washington University Siteman Cancer Center. And up there we've got the Mercy Medical Center. We've got the Holiday Inn Express at that location. And Mid-America also still owns this lot on the corner there. And again, this is the area that we're talking about this evening. So some photographs quickly of the adjoining properties. If you're looking here, that's the entrance to the Oak Garden Apartments on the left and the Phillips 66 on the right. We'd go down here just straight in front of the Phillips 66. That's what you would see. This is our entrance. And if you look at our entrance, you can see the intersection with the lights and again, the apartments across the street from us. Over here, again, that is the Holiday Inn Express. And then here's some photographs of the lots, the developed lots that are in the 11 acres itself. We've got a Popeyes, which I visit often. Over here, we have the Missouri Credit Union, very nice building. Looking this way here, that's a parking lot, and that is extra parking for the Children's Hospital that's just to the east of this parcel. And right there is the Hampton Inn. Properties owned and operated by Mid-America Hotels Corp. Right at this intersection. Over here is a brand new Fairfield Hotel. I think it opened around 2020, 2021. They've been operating the Burger King there, built that, and that was the late 90s. And if you go by that Burger King, it's in very, very nice condition to this date. Again, they have the Holiday Inn Express there. They own and operate. The Hampton Inn, own and operate. So they have a lot invested in this corner and very nice buildings on this corner. So again, here's our 11 acres, zoned to C4 in 2007. And there we go. So there's lots 1, 2, and 3 up in that quadrant. This was lot 4. This here was lot 5, lot 6. And where the Hampton Inn sits, it was lots 7 and 8, which since have been combined for the Hampton Inn to go there. So tonight, again, we're requesting to rezone lots 1 and 2, which were zoned to C8 back to C4. Again, lots 1 and 2, C8 as of 2022, and then the adjoining lots C4 since 2007. That's the area we're talking about. So when originally we did this development in the 90s, commercial lots were actually smaller than they are today, believe it or not. So one of the things we're trying to accomplish here is we're trying to get the same zoning between all our lots and our parcels so we can move to develop them more efficiently, or if we find a user, we can tell them exactly what uses he can have. So it's very possible that lots 2 and 3, part of lot 2 may go into lot 3, and part of lot 2 may also go into lot 1, and we'd like to see them all be the same C4 zoning. So it's the same zoning. This here is a quick drawing of, this is a drawing of the original, the petition that happened in 2002, zoning it from C4 to C8, okay? I gotta get my drawing up here. So this was submitted in 2002, requesting a C8. It was to be a strip store with 2 drive-throughs, which was not allowed under the C4 zoning. Okay, so they asked for a C8. Because due to the conditions of the ordinance from the zoning process and the rapid inflation that construction projects were having at that time, Mid-America decided that the cost of the project simply was too high to justify the project moving forward. What Mid-America, and apparently their engineer, which this is one of the few projects they did without me, I want to point that out real quick, but didn't realize what they needed to request to halt the zoning process without prejudice. And they didn't do that. And so the C8 ultimately went to council and was passed. And again, at the time, Mid-America didn't realize that. They didn't even know it went to council. It was just a couple months after that that they actually found out that their parcel that they thought was still going to be a C4 was actually rezoned to C8. So if Mid-America would have known, they should have requested the petition to be removed without prejudice before the county council for approval. They would have done it. They simply did not know that. So we are respectfully asking that the lots 1 and 2 be zoned back to the original C4 2007 to match the adjoining zonings in the Mid-America Center. And if you have any questions, I'd be happy to try to answer them.
Commissioners, do you have any questions?
I do not.
Okay. I'd just like to ask a question. What do you possibly think you might have that could be built there? Just for the commissioners to.
So
What's possible?
a filling station with a 5,000 square foot maximum would be there, could be there. Probably restaurants, maybe even a coffee shop could go in there too. So something like that we would be looking for. We wouldn't be looking for another hotel because we own the 2 hotels right there. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
All righty. Thank you. Okay, at this time, are there any persons representing a group that would wish to speak in favor of this petition? If not, are there any individuals that would like to speak in favor of this petition? None. Are there any persons representing a group that would like to speak in opposition or concern? No? And are there any individuals who would like to speak in opposition or concern? Okay. Well, at this time, I'd like to ask for a show of hands of folks that are in favor of this petition. Please raise your hand.
Yes.
17 in favor. Those in opposition? All right, that would be 0. Thank you very much. This concludes this hearing. And now we have PC 12 and 13-25 JSS Land Development LLC.
All right, Commissioners, in front of you, we have PC 12 and 1325.
I'm sorry, would you mind pulling your mic down? Thank you.
In front of you, we have PC 12 and 1325, JSS Land Development LLC. This petition is a request for a change in zoning from the NU to R2 and a PEU planned environmental unit in the R2 for the purpose of single-family residences on a 20.22 acre tract on the east side of Kurth Road opposite Misty Trail Lane and west of Interstate 55. So on the right here, you see an outline of the proposed site outlined in red, and on the left, that you can see that this is located in Way South County next to one of our highway badges. This is a larger aerial that shows the outline of the proposed lot with the single-family residences surrounding it. This is our land use map showing that the area is predominantly single-family. This is our public hearing sign facing north to the site. This is facing further north up Kurth Road. This is facing south, the opposite direction on Kurth Road. This is facing west across the street from the site. This is facing east, looking into the site. This is also facing east, looking into the site. And finally, one more look facing east, looking into the site. And now I invite the petitioner to come up and give their presentation. to advance.
Okay, thank you.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the Planning Commission and members of the staff. My name is Steve Gower. I'm the Vice President of Buttervich Land Development Companies in South St. Louis County. Also in attendance, I've got Mike Perding, our professional engineer with Sterling Engineering. I want to tell you a little bit about Buttervich Companies. Have been doing business in St. Louis County and operating in St. Louis County for over 80 years. We've been developing property in St. Louis County for over 30 years. So we've been around a long time. We've got 9 different divisions at the company, and we self-perform a lot of our own site work through the other divisions. The petition presented to you here tonight, as discussed, is for the approximately 20-acre tract of land located on Kurth Road and in between Highway 55. The site is a assemblage of 4 separate tracts of land to total the 20.2 acres. The site would be accessed by one single entrance off of Kurth Road and directly across from Misty Trail. The new roadway would be a dedicated public right-of-way to St. Louis County with a 26-foot wide concrete public street. As part of the development, we would also be required to pay on a per lot basis into St. Louis County's Traffic Generation Assessment Fund to help mitigate any future traffic in the area. The site is currently zoned non-urban, and we are requesting an R2 zoning classification with a PEU overlay. The PEU overlay is to allow for sites like this to handle challenges with topography and site characteristics such as the physical features are shown on this site. We've got a lot of topographic challenges and a tributary that bisects through the site. So the PEU is helping us mitigate some of those problems. The R2 zoning classification would allow for a total of 58 lots to be built on the site, and we are only proposing 49. So it's 11 fewer than the R2 zoning class would allow. This site, is 20.2 acres, of which we're conserving approximately 30% into common ground. So over 6.3 acres would remain in common ground. And that common ground would be owned and maintained by the Future Homeowners Association. We are contracting through with Fisher and Fritztel Homes to build the homes in the subdivision. And I'll flip to is there not a slide for the houses? I guess that one didn't get in there. Well, we submitted house elevations of their proposed homes. They're going to have an average sale price in the mid 600 range. The average home price, depending on the buyer's options, like I said, in the mid 600s. The average home size is around 1,850 square feet, going all the way up to 2,600 square feet. They're going to offer ranch, 1.5-story and 2-story houses with this development. I wish I had the rendering for their house elevations.
We have it.
Okay, great. Thank you. Obviously, they're a prominent home builder in St. Louis area. They've been around forever. Great company. So talk about some of the storm and sanitary sewer approvals that will be necessary. So all the stormwater from the site will be directed to 2 different detention ponds located on each side of the tributary. Both of the basins will be dedicated and maintained by the Homeowners Association. They will also be required to adhere to all MSD's new standards for water quality. So we will be required to build bioretention within those basins. per MSD's standards for water quality approval. Once the stormwater is detained on site, it will be discharged into the existing tributary. And MSD has already given us one preliminary review and gave recommendations for storm and sanitary. The sanitary sewer will be directed in an existing gravity main that flows into an existing pump station in the adjacent Lilac Ridge subdivision to our north. MSD has given us the direction that that pump station is adequate to handle our existing proposed flow. They have requested that we may potentially have to add some inline storage on our site for 24-hour storage in addition to what's already over there. But as mentioned, MSD has already given us the direction on how to handle the storm and sanitary flow. In addition to getting St. Louis County Highway Department approval, we will also be required to get, obviously, MSD, Missouri Department of Natural Resources, and the Corps of Engineers approval to move the development forward. In conclusion, we believe this is a high-quality development consistent with the area, and it would greatly improve the look and surrounding feel of the adjacent neighborhoods. I'm available for any questions, and I want to thank you for the time this evening.
Commissioners, have any questions? Paul?
Yes,
Provetta?
yes, this is Arvetta. I'm virtually attending. Can you speak about this stormwater basins? And you made a comment kind of quick that the homeowners are gonna have to maintain that. Is that what you said?
Yes, all stormwater basins in every residential development are required to be maintained by the homeowners association. They are required to be reviewed by MSD and entered into a maintenance agreement with MSD, but they are the responsibility of the HOA and not MSD. That's standard on all new residential and commercial development.
What's I'm curious, what's the average lot size? I mean, I see the drawing here, the overlay, and they're kind of irregular shape, but kind of what's the average maybe, if
The
there is
lots-
one?
The minimum lot size is 8,000 square feet and the largest lot is 18,000 square feet.
Okay. 8 to 18. And the PUE overlay. Can you speak about some of the topography, more details, I guess, of the topography challenges? What's happening there at the site? Hills, valleys, what do we have going on?
Yes.
Drop-offs?
Yes, ma'am. And generally, the site drops down in elevation from Kurth Road towards Highway 55. I don't know if you can see the kind of darker green area on the
Yes.
plan, but that
Mhm.
is a tributary that runs through the site. So that's the lowest point of the site. So it drops down significantly in elevation, I think about 60 feet from Kurth Road down to that tributary, and then the grade goes back up towards Highway 55. So it's a challenging site, and the layout and how to get the street percentages to work and just to get the overall site to work in itself and get the density in a manner that is acceptable.
And from the images I saw when the planning staff was presenting, it looks like on that side of the road where the entrance is into the subdivision, it's no shoulder at all. I mean, it's the road.
No, we'll have to do some grading all along the frontage of Kurth Road. And we'll be required to provide a sidewalk along our frontage as well.
Okay, that's interesting. You'll be required to provide a sidewalk. And then when your property stops, of course, the sidewalk is just going to stop.
Correct.
Okay.
Yeah, a lot of Kurth Road along that area does not have any sidewalk. There
Mhm.
is a sidewalk. It doesn't come all the way to our property line from the south. It stops I don't know, 50 or 60 feet short of the property line. But there is sidewalk on that east side of Kurth Road, just south of us a little bit. But like I said, it's not really going to connect to anything further north or south beyond that adjacent 4-lot development.
Do you see the property owners having a fence, those that are on Kirk Road, their backyards? Do you see that they will have fencing?
There's actually a common ground strip in between the backs of the lots and Kurth Road. So if there is any fencing, they will not come up to the right of way of Kurth Road.
Mhm. And because I'm curious, and other planning commissioners who may live down in this area, what's the traffic light going up and down the road there at the point, especially where the entrance is into the subdivision?
My experience, it's been light, but we haven't done any traffic counts in the area. But like, as I mentioned, we will be contributing to the TGA fund.
I can comment on that if I.
Mhm.
Ravetta, where this property is right now, if you went there and you could see through the pictures, it's highly wooded
Mhm.
right there, all the way up
Right.
and down the property. So once they
Okay.
develop this, it's gonna clean some of that out. I know they're probably gonna put bushes or pine trees in there, but nothing's gonna come up under the road where it's at
Mhm.
now. So when somebody comes up to the intersection, they're gonna look right and left, they'll be able to see. Right now, how it is, whatever houses are in there, when they pull up there, it's hard for them to there, but as far as the traffic going up and down, it's only the people that live on Kurth that travel that road. It's not a shortcut for anybody.
Okay.
In addition, Mr. Chairman.
But it is a one-lane road in each direction.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
We have
Actually-
already evaluated the site distance at the proposed intersection to make sure it's adequate.
Okay, that's all my questions. Thank you.
I actually live on Kurth Road, and other than during the commuting time periods, I would not call it a little bit more than sporadic, but definitely not. It's a county thoroughfare, but it's not high traffic except for maybe during commuting times.
In all my visits to the site and the preliminary work we've done out there, it's very minimal, but
Mhm.
it's always mid-morning too, so.
I just have one question for you. On the south end of the site there where the cul-de-sac is at, right there. I'm assuming the stormwater is gonna run over, towards the highway into that common ground.
Say, I'm sorry, I missed it.
The south end of the property
Mhm.
where it looks like it would stub into
Yes,
below, but you have a cul-de-sac in there.
yes.
I'm assuming that water's gonna be running down
No,
that street,
we'll be taking it back to a low point.
going back the other way.
Yes.
Thank you.
I actually had a question about that cul-de-sac there. It looks like the property goes into the cul-de-sac. Is that correct?
That is actually a stub street to the neighboring development. So it'd be a temporary turnaround at the end of that.
Okay.
So if there was ever any future development, that's what the stub is there for.
So those property owners would own part of the cul-de-sac though?
It's being a
It's an
turnaround
easement.
easement
Okay.
within those lots.
Any more questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, at this time, are there any persons representing a group that would like to speak in favor? None. Any persons that would like to speak in favor of this petition? None. Are there any persons that would like to speak for a group in opposition or concern? Are there an individual would like to speak in opposition or concern? All right. If not, we see a show of hands of those that are in favor. We have 15 this time. 15. Those in opposition? All right.
I see 5. Is that what?
Yes,
Okay,
okay,
thank you.
5, I'm sorry. All righty. And at this time, this concludes this hearing. Thank you. now we have PC 14-25, Afton Plaza JV LLC.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Ben Moeller. I'm the planner presenting this case. It's number PC 14-25, the applicant being Afton Plaza JV LLC. Thank you. The request is for a conditional use permit in a C3 district for the proposed use being a marijuana dispensary facility. The tract size itself is 2.42 acres, and the location is west of the intersection of Gravois Road and Weber Road, approximately 900 feet east of Mackenzie Road. So you can see here an outline of the property itself. You might all be familiar. This is the 9 Mile Garden development here in the area, as well as showing it is in the Afton area of South County. And then kind of a better visual of the actual parcel. I do want to point out, while the request is affecting the entire parcel, the building in question that they are planning on putting the facility is the currently operating 9 Mile Cantina there on the west side of the site.
I'm sorry, can you say that again?
Yes, ma'am. So the CUP request does affect the entire parcel with everything, but the specific building they are planning on using is going to be the one furthest on the west there, the smaller building that's the currently operating 9 Mile Cantina bar. Next to kind of the green space area that's right there. Yeah. Here you can see a land use map for everything. You can kind of see that it does fall in a fairly large commercial district, as well as with the commercial abutting Gravois Road to the south there, as well as just being surrounded by just single family residential in pretty much every direction. Here you can see the public hearing sign facing down Gravois Road to the west. Here's a picture from the building in question to the southeast, looking across Gravois Road. Here it is looking north, and you can see to the west there is the building itself, and then to the east of it is kind of the existing commercial district with everything, or commercial row. Here's northwest looking at it. I do also want to point out there is an existing, the Jimmy John's that is directly next to it does use the front area of that as their stacking area for their drive-through area. To the east, you can look up Gravois Road. This also shows you the development of buildings that are next to it. This is it to the west, looking down towards those buildings. To the north, looking up Toby Road, I do want to also point out that is a private road that does have a gate going across it. Here it is looking to the south and with that same private gate. To the northeast, looking at the residential across Weber Road. And then the public hearing sign that we had on the north end of the property facing south in the picture. Now I'd request the petitioners to come up and speak. Thank you, guys.
May I begin?
Please do.
Good evening. My name is Andrew Lammert. I am one of the founders of High Fidelity Brands, a vertically integrated cannabis company that's been operating in Missouri since the beginning of the medical marijuana market. Since 2021, our company has successfully opened and operated 4 dispensaries in the greater St. Louis area, 3 of which have been open since spring and summer of 2021. And most recently, we opened one in the Soulard area, downtown St. Louis. We are now seeking a CUP to open a new dispensary on the property that was just identified. The reason we need the CUP is because right now we do not comply with the 500-foot buffer in section 1003.135, as the proposed use will be 482 feet away from a packaging liquor store in the nearby area. Our use complies with the CUP standards under section 1003.181 of the local ordinances. Specifically, the development and use is consistent with good planning practice. The site is located in a retail shopping center at the intersection of Gravois and Weber Roads, is highly accessible surrounded by existing commercial uses and appropriate for a low-impact commercial business like a dispensary. Since July 2021, we've successfully operated a dispensary at 14173 Manchester Road in unincorporated St. Louis County adjacent to the city of Manchester. That dispensary is located next door to a liquor store, directly next door, and we've experienced no issues or observed any pattern of customers frequenting both establishments. There has been no evidence of cross-consumption between the two businesses that we've noticed. The dispensary is not detrimental to the district or surrounding uses. The dispensary is comparable to a retail pharmacy and will not create excess noise, traffic, or nuisance behavior. We anticipate the dispensary will complement surrounding businesses by attracting foot traffic and contributing to neighborhood revitalization. At our other 4 dispensaries, we've had no reports of negative impacts on neighboring properties or uses. We've maintained positive relationships with local residents and businesses. We do not expect any credible evidence will be presented today, such as an appraisal showing that the dispensary would cause harm to property values in the area. In fact, multiple studies have shown that dispensaries have a neutral or positive effect on nearby property values. The dispensary will be developed and operated in a manner that is visually compatible with the surrounding area. The building's exterior design, signage, and landscaping will align with the surrounding commercial properties and will be reviewed per county standards. We've retained an experienced architect, and our anticipated build-out will exceed $1 million. Our stores are professional, clean, and modern, often compared to an Apple store in both design and customer experience. Public consumption is strictly prohibited under Missouri law and will not be tolerated at this location, and is certainly not tolerated at any of our 4 current operating dispensaries. The dispensary promotes the public health, safety, and welfare in St. Louis County. With regard to public health, the dispensary provides access to medical cannabis for patients with qualifying conditions. All cannabis products are rigorously tested for potency, contaminants, and quality by licensed Missouri labs, reducing reliance on unregulated sources like the black market. We offer customers educational materials on responsible use and safe alternatives for conditions such as pain, anxiety, and insomnia. With regard to public safety, we implement comprehensive security systems that will enhance security in the area, including on-site personnel, 24/7 video surveillance, and intrusion alarm and lighting, amplified lighting. As with our other dispensaries, we strictly follow all state compliance requirements, including internal and external surveillance systems, employee background checks, and state-issued agent ID cards. Age-gated access, 21 plus, or a valid medical card will be required. Real-time inventory tracking is utilized through software to prevent diversion and theft of product. And then with regard to public welfare, the dispensary will create new jobs and add economic vibrancy to the area. The project will generate meaningful tax revenue, including the 3% local cannabis sales tax passed by county voters. For example, our dispensary in unincorporated St. Louis County near Manchester that I referenced earlier has already paid $228,625.03 in local cannabis taxes from October 2023 to March 2025. So just over a period of 18 months when the 3% tax was implemented. And that obviously does not include the general sales tax that we would be paying. This is just the 3% cannabis tax. Thank you. I'm going to turn it over to my partner, Kyle Lenzen, who will share more about the project.
Good evening. My name is Kyle Lenzen. I'm going to give you a little background about our business and point out some of the, here we go. All right, so Kind Goods, Drew gave you an overview of the business. We are vertically integrated. We're all locally owned. So Drew, myself, and our third partner grew up in St. Louis. We're from St. Louis. All of our families are here. Short way of saying we care about what happens in our community. We're very philanthropic, as Drew had mentioned. We get involved in neighborhood associations, support several charities, which we intend to do in Afton. This is an overall parent organization chart. So we've got 3 brands that we produce product underneath the Daybreak, Good Taste, and Pinpoint name. And then our retail stores are underneath the Kind Goods name. We've got, as Drew mentioned, 4 stores, one in Fenton at Gravois Bluffs in front of the Target. We've got one at Manchester and 141 in front of the, well, it's right next to Qdoba. Menards, thank you. And then we have one at Cave Springs in 70, one in Soulard, and then we are under construction one on Southampton. Our corporate offices in downtown St. Louis, where we have about 35 people. These are the 3 owners, myself, Drew, and a guy named Brant Stiles. These are our key leaders. Sam is our president, Arthur is our COO, and John Chisholm is our head security officer and head of construction. Sam and Arthur have been in the industry. We brought them in from Colorado. They operated a company similar size to ours with 5 dispensaries. They bring a lot of the compliance knowledge to our team and have never had any violations underneath their operations. This is our current footprint today as it stands. This will be what it looks like in 2025 or in September 2025. We're also getting ready to start construction on a store at Dorset and 270. So we'll have these 2 under construction and then hopefully a third with Afton. That places our, that's the overall map of all of our stores. This is kind of the general aesthetics of our store. Like Drew said, we spent a lot of money on the appearance of our store. The whole goal was when we started designing these things, I want my 73-year-old mother to be able to walk into the store, feel comfortable, walk out. It is a dispensary. She's never been a cannabis user in her entire life, but I want her to be proud of what she's walking out of. So we hired several architects, interior designers, and we intend to replicate this design at Afton. This is our Manchester store. You can kind of see it's kind of cut off on the left-hand side, but that is a liquor store that Drew was mentioning. That was in place prior to the change in zoning when adult use was passed. This is our store in St. Peter's. All the stores look almost identical, very small changes in the layouts depending on the size of the space. That's our store in Soulard. We've won A-list for 3 years in a row, whether that matters or not. Getting to the site itself. So this is an overall site plan of the shopping center. You can see our proposed building, which is now being used by the canteen. You can kind of see, let me see if I can point here. We intend to, so the employee parking will be all around the back of the building where there's, I believe, 21 spaces right now. All of the customer parking will be on the left-hand side, fronting Gravois, away from the drive-through, and where you see the stacking of the Jimmy John's drive-through occurs. Those 2 spaces will be converted to, I'm sorry, 2 spaces to the left of that will be converted to handicap to meet compliance. This is the way the building looks today. This is the proposed renovations to the exterior. Hours of operation, some general details. We plan to operate from 8 to 9 p.m. We'll have about 25 to 30 employees, maximum shift about 10 to 11. Parking spaces, we've got 31. The customer ratio to employee ratio, this is a regulation of the state. We have, for every 1 employee, the most we can have is 3 customers in the store at one time, which would mean if we are at max shift of 10 to 11 people, between 30 and 33 customers. As Drew mentioned, 21 and up, recreational or adult use. We accept 18+ year olds for medical. We check every ID for compliance, check an age, make sure it's valid and not expired. Average customers per day, and this is from beginning of opening to close, between 250 to 400, with 400 typically will hit on a Saturday, is usually when we're busy. Security details, all of our employees are background checked. We will have ballards, security ballards that will surround the perimeter of the parking lot so people can't drive through the building, similar to a bank. The roll-up garage doors will be removed and covered with steel decorative panels. Some of the glass windows that are there will be filled in. Some of them will remain. If they remain, they will be covered with hurricane-proof film, which is also a requirement by the state. We have random state audits through, we could get a call tomorrow at noon and say that, a compliance officer from the state of Missouri is in our store. Another short way of saying is that we are always on point as far as compliance goes. We meet with regular law enforcement in the area always to establish security plans, introduce the team. We have armed guards on site during hours of operations. And then, as Drew mentioned, we have 24-hour professionally monitored cameras. Every angle in the entire facility and exterior is covered. The state has access to those cameras at any time, and we have panic buttons throughout the facility. Just quick on the adult use and medical programs. So in 2022, the state of Missouri, 53% of the voters voted in favor. St. Louis County was 59%. And then in this particular district, I took all the neighboring precincts, and it averaged out to be a 65% approval rating for adult use. Our projected annual cannabis sales tax here, year one would be $120,000. Year two, we're expecting about $180,000, and hopefully that will increase past that. That is the numbers that we are pulling from our lowest performing store. General customer data, we average transaction times 9 minutes. This data was pulled a while ago. Our medical our customer base has actually increased due to some of the regulations that were changed at the state level. So some of the people that had medical cards before let them expire because they didn't need them anymore for adult. They could just go in without having to maintain that card. But the state made some changes, and we're starting to see an uptick, and I think that number is now closer to 15% on medical of all of our customers. The shopping schedule, average customer comes in every 15 days. And then our customer range of age, really the primary is between 21 and 50. We still, some of our stores in a older demographic area will see higher, but that's pretty standard across the board at all of our stores. And that is it. Thank you for your time.
I have a question.
Yes.
So do you see any crossover between the 9 Mile Garden here or 9 Mile, what's the name of the?
9 Mile Garden?
Yeah.
I would hope so. I would hope to see that if customers, they wouldn't be consuming on site. So I would hope that if somebody's in the area and their family's eating food, that they would be able to walk over and purchase product, but they would not be able to open it up or consume it on site.
Not on your site, but what about at 9 Mile Garden?
I can only control what's on my site. We can monitor it and make sure that, if there's kids out there, that we are out there to address it immediately. But the goal is to eliminate consumption, but without police having a person, we're always monitoring our parking lots as it is today at our stores. If we see an issue, we call the police or somebody's consuming in the public.
Yeah. And your building is immediately adjacent to that? Or is it I was having a hard time figuring that out. It's immediately adjacent to 9 Mile Garden?
There's a buffer. If you can kind of see it on that bottom. You can't really see it there.
The site plan.
Oh, yeah.
Mhm.
So you can see the roadway in between the actual garden
Mhm.
and our proposed building.
Okay, thank you.
Welcome. Any other questions?
This is not for you, but it's for the owner of the property. Where we're talking about the canteen, were the people at the 9 Mile Garden able to go over and get a couple drinks and then take it over to the garden? Yeah, I don't think that, I'm just asking that question.
That's right, but I was going to speak in favor of anyway. That's why I have my card. Thank you. Not as tall as these guys. So anyway, my name's Larry Chapman. I'm the owner of Afton Plaza, the entire shopping center, also the owner of 9 Mile Garden. The reason we're supporting this is good or bad. 9 Mile Garden's been very well accepted by the community. We've been happy to do it, but it is a sadly money-losing proposition. We have two things that we fight against. One is probably the biggest is weather. And if you look at this site plan up here, you see where the big 9 is? That's the outdoor portion. Right now, people walk over that little canteen. It's about 3,000 square feet. But if you go to the other side, there's a red bar. You can hardly read it. There's a very big space, about 20,000 square feet, that we plan to convert and move the canteen over there, plus an indoor space for stage and indoor events and things like that, because we've got to stop the weather issue. I mean, April this year is the wettest April on record in history of this city. And so if we don't stop that, we were going to have no choice but to shut down the garden anyway. We don't look forward to people doing just smoking and consuming on the premises, whether somebody will or they won't. But we have people watching over that, and you won't see a nuisance from it. But if there's going to be consumption, there's going to be consumption. I can't stop that. I suspect it's going on now, regardless of whether there's a store right here or down the street. We wouldn't be talking to you except for there's about 8 feet out of the way, there's a liquor store that everywhere else in the state, it doesn't matter. And so that's the only reason we're talking to you today. You know, I think that this is in the best interest of 9 Mile Garden's long-term existence. We're going to recreate the canteen on the other side. So it's going to draw all the 9 Mile people to the left of that screen. We're going to do a new outdoor bar, indoor-outdoor bar, and have the same kind of setup over there. We're working on the plans right now. If this gets approved, then we're going to submit all the plans to Mr. Trimble's department, and they're going to look through it, and hopefully we'll have a permit to build this later this year. But I think if you're looking for the long-term viability of the garden, this helps that a lot. Otherwise, you know, there's only so many years we can afford to lose $300,000 or $400,000 a year. That's just a fact. And we don't think we'll do that once we change. Anyway.
Any more questions? Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
At this time, are there any individual who would like to speak for a group that's in favor? Are there any individuals that would like to speak in favor? Or is there an individual who'd like to speak for a group in opposition or concern? Or is there an individual that'd like to speak in opposition or, please come on up. Are you speaking as an individual or as an individual for a group? Okay. Clear. Thank you.
All right. Good evening. My name is Dylan Knoxted. I live like a block north of 9 Mile Garden. So yeah, I'm coming today mainly as someone who's from the area and concerned about this possible change in the layout. You know, I walk by 9 Mile Garden like daily with my son. I am the foot traffic. You know, I go to these stores in the area. I found out about this actually through a Facebook group of Afton people. Someone took a picture of your guys' sign. There was actually a lot of confusion about what is this even for? Wait, what? They're putting it in the canteen? That doesn't make sense. And there was quite a bit of confusion. But I found, you know, eventually found out that yes, it is going in the canteen. And well, thing that surprised me, and it surprised a lot of people on this Facebook page, is that there's a dispensary right across the street already. Within, you can see it from the proposed site. And of course, yeah, it's within the liquor store's zoning restriction. And additionally, it's going to be right next to a bar, or I guess once they move it, fairly close to a bar and right next to this community space. So my main opposition is, firstly, yeah, it's right there next to this place called High Point Leaf. It's right across the street. The second thing is that 9 Mile Garden is a community asset, and it's a family-friendly environment, and I find it's really unfit for a dispensary. I'm, again, from the area, so...
Mr. Chair, that's 2 minutes.
Oh, I'll sum up real quick. Yeah, so it's a landmark. I tell people about it so they know where I live. People mention it on their real estate listings as a real asset. But, you know, it's an inviting place. It's a family place. They just had this Bluey Day event with hundreds of kids there, and this really isn't the place for a dispensary, especially as they've effectively admitted people are going to be consuming it there, and this will just encourage that consumption. Thank you.
Thank you for your comments. Would you like to come up for rebuttal, please?
Mr. Chair, while the petitioner is coming back up, to a point that the speaker made, I would, from the look on the petitioner's face, I don't think they knew about the, when staff went into the field, it does appear that there is a dispensary across the street, but we do not have record of occupancy for that facility. So I wanted to add that, knowing that it didn't seem like you knew that either.
Yeah, you're right. That's actually not a licensed dispensary.
So we have notified the Department of Public Works Code Enforcement team as well.
Yeah, there are several of those type of facilities operating around St. Louis County. And I understand that there's some legislation that is being worked on right now that would potentially eliminate those. But they are selling unlicensed, untested product and underneath the hemp farm bill, which is, it's a loophole. As far as the, so, you know, I wouldn't consider the dispensary, I mean, they're claiming it's a dispensary. It is a dispensary. It should not be operated as a dispensary. The way that they typically will go and get a occupancy permit is underneath the smoke shop, selling tobacco. So that's the answer for the first question is, it is not a license. The state of Missouri does not recognize that as a dispensary. They don't carry any of the security that we carry. They don't carry tested product. It's unfortunately, we are battling this everywhere we go right now. As far as the neighborhood, my family's from Afton. My grandmother lived there for 65 years until she passed away 2 months ago. I've got 8 cousins that live in Afton, 2 of them which live right behind here. I would never put a facility that would jeopardize my family or the neighborhood that my family grew up in. We are very proud of the way we operate. I've got 2 young children. I've got a 7 and a 4-year-old. They are proud of what Daddy makes, which is medicine, what I sell, which is medicine. I can understand how anybody would be concerned. And what we've always done is we prove ourselves. I'd encourage anybody that has any concerns to call the city of Fenton, to call the city of St. Peters, to call, well, I guess you couldn't get a hold of Kara Spencer anymore, but she's our alderman down, or she was our former alderman in Soulard, or the neighborhood association in Southampton, Southwest Gardens Neighborhood Association. I think all of them would speak very highly of us in the way that we operate. We do care about the neighborhood. If we are not doing the neighborhood good, nobody's going to shop with us and we're going to close down. So it does nobody good.
I would just like to just reiterate that 65% of the people in this area that frequent these stores in this commercial area voted in favor of adult use cannabis. Thank thank you for hearing us out.
First of all, one of the things I heard was, I want 9 Mile Garden to stay. I think a lot of people do. On its current trajectory, it's not going to happen. And if I thought for a minute we weren't going to be able to manage a bunch of pot smokers running around, we wouldn't be doing this either. But that's not what we're going to see. I don't believe that. I mean, you can buy this stuff anywhere. If you're going to consume it, you're going to consume it. And just because the dispensary is right there versus somewhere else really isn't going to make that difference, in my opinion. Our job is to sell a family environment, a lot of entertainment. If you go down there in the middle of the day on a Saturday afternoon, you're not going to see people lined up at the dispensary. You're going to see people out listening to the music, playing the games, doing the things we do. And you know what? We hope they buy a few beers at the beer garden because that's how we pay the bills, okay? Pretty simple. And this is a strategy that we believe will help 9 Mile Garden succeed and go forward. And we have a terrific guy named Chuck Shoney managing that operation. He's going to make sure we have a great, clean environment. We are focused on family, always have been, always will be, but we do have to stay open from a environment. We can't afford to pay rent on the canteen and across on the other building. We can only afford to pay rent in one place. And we'll do it in a place where we can do indoor and outdoor events. And I think everybody will be very happy at the end of the day.
Thank you.
I don't want to steal that. It's not mine.
At this time, could I see a show of hands of those in favor of this petition? 9. And those opposed? And that's 1. And that concludes this petition. Thank you. And now we have PC 08-25, Alex David.
All right, good evening, commissioners. This is PC 08-25, Alex David. A request for a conditional use permit in the M1 Industrial District to permit a vehicle repair facility on a 2.31 acre tract west of North Warson Road, northwest of the western terminus of Midwest Industrial Boulevard. A tongue twister. This site is in Mid-North County and is on the aerial bounded in red. On the larger aerial, commissioners can see that the site is at the terminus of Midwest Industrial Boulevard, an area characterized by light industrial uses. And this is a land use map of the surrounding area. This image is northwest, looking at the public hearing sign and the building facade. This is east, looking down Midwest Industrial Boulevard. This is south, looking at the existing pavement. This is south, looking at the railroad tracks that comprise the southwestern border of the parcel. This is northwest, looking at the southern side of the existing building. This is northwest, looking at the existing building. This is north, looking at the west side of the building. This is east, looking at the north side of the building and the existing paving. This is southeast, looking at an existing ramp and loading area on the building. This is looking west, looking at some of the overhead doors and the telecommunications tower at the northwest corner of the parcel. Finally, this is south, looking at the eastern side of the building and some other existing overhead doors on the property. Next, we will hear from the petitioner.
Thank you.
Get my notes out here. First of all, thank you all for allowing me to speak today. I know we screwed up our schedule last meeting, so I apologize for missing it. And what I've got is I own a service department in Creve Coeur, about a mile away from where this current location, where the location we'd like to move into. We currently occupy about 9,500 square feet, and we're busting at the seams. We're looking to expand into a 40,000 square foot space, and kind of take you through the
project here. This is what the current facade, or what the future facade will look like. We're currently doing about a $2 million renovation on the property. Most of it's all cosmetic paint and filling in, just cleaning up and making it look like a space you'd want to go and have your vehicle serviced. Currently, it looks like everything else, and it's a warehouse right now. And I want it to be presentable and really nice looking, so my customers feel comfortable. So our current location, or we're looking to go into a M1 zoned area. It's all commercial all the way around us. The property consists of 39,600 square feet on 2.31 acres. Let's see here. There we go. This is the current elevation of the property, what it currently looks like today. Again, it looks nice. It's a good building. It's just kind of dingy and a little bit old. We want to bring it up to life. New garage doors and fresh paint, fresh asphalt. I do want to point out that there are no alterations we're going to do to the property as far as construction. The only things we're going to be doing to it are going to be cosmetic. We'll be making improvements on the building by taking care of the parking lot, ADA parking, landscape additions to meet zoning requirements, security cameras. We are doing a 62 camera high definition surrounding the whole property all the way up and down. It's going to see down Lindbergh. It's going to see up and down the whole street and the whole property all the way around. There will also be lighting and safety and security stuff for the rest of the other buildings. Like I said, we work on high-end vehicles. We have customers who bring very, very expensive vehicles and leave them in our care. So we want to make sure that they feel very comfortable when they show up. So we're going to have a very robust security system, keeping track of all the comings and goings anywhere around us. This is a site survey of the property. And let's see. This is a description of where the parking lot, landscape, according to landscape and parking layout. Next one, showing some additional elevations of what the property is going to look like. Let's see. And that's the one from the top right hand side is what you'll actually see when you're coming down Lindbergh. I hope to keep the brush down that low. It came up about 3 feet overnight on me, but the idea is that you'll see a nice white bright building there instead of the kind of the gray stone is the way it looks today. We will have, the proposed site will contain 20 plus lifts for mechanical work, an engine shop, fabrication, that's light fabrication for interior work, a shop providing cosmetic services for vehicles, all except body work. We're not going to install a paint booth. All HVAC and oil separators will be permitted, installed, and maintained according to the county code. Parking for customer-owned vehicles is located indoors in a climate-controlled and monitored secure warehouse. We don't intend to have cars parked out overnight, and if we do, it's going to be customer car, or not. I'm sorry, it won't be customer cars. It'll be our overflow things and different things like that. So this slide kind of gives you several of the benefits we provide currently to our customers in the community. Some of the highlights: we've been successful. We've had a successful business located 4 minutes down the road for over 3 years, providing training to the next generation. We have a program worked out with Rankin. We take their engine shop mechanics and do a further training process for them, teaching them how to become better at their job and hopefully turn them into master technicians. This is a list of all the mechanical services that we provide. We are a state inspection station, but we do everything to rebuilding Lamborghini engines and anything and everything you can imagine in between. Cosmetic, this is our cosmetic department. We also take care of all the window film and paint protection film or scratches or anything else that you might see you need to have touched up or cleaned up. We take care of all that stuff. We recondition wheels. We do general service, just about anything you can imagine for our customers. We own and run our own tow truck just for use for our facility, and then we contract transportation and logistics out as well for our clients. Our hours are Monday through Friday, 8 to 5, which fits within the commercial business that surrounds the site. Occasionally, we may have permitted events, such as the many 501c events that we have sponsored over the years. We're doing a Make-A-Wish and Boys and Girls Club event this coming week. We do a lot of different events and fundraisers and things like that. So part of the reason why we're moving into a space like this is so that we can allow those kind of events to happen inside of our facility. And this will give you kind of an idea of what the interior of our current facility looks like, just to give you kind of an idea of what to anticipate when we move into the new location. Again, our clientele are, they expect a certain level of cleanliness and well kept. So our facility now is very nice, and I don't own it. This one I own, and I'm going to make sure it's the Taj Mahal of service departments. And these are just additional views of the facility that we currently have now. Last but not least is about me. I've been in the automotive industry for 20 years. I moved into service in 2022 and really haven't looked back. The idea of this was just to kind of take all the knowledge that I've got in reconditioning cars that I've been doing for dealers for years and offer that same service to customers, being able to really solve any automotive problem for my clientele. Any questions?
Commissioners have any questions? Sandy? No, thank you. Paul, Arvetta, Chris? All right. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
And now at this time, do we have any individual like to speak in favor for a group? And do we have an individual who'd like to speak in favor? Do we have an individual who'd like to speak in opposition or concern for a group? Or do we have an individual who'd like to speak in opposition or concern? If not, can I see a show of hands of those in favor? 5. And those in opposition? 0. And that concludes this hearing. Thank you very much.
Yes, yes, so we will want to close this, we will want to close the public hearing and then open the executive meeting.
Make a motion to close the
Do
meeting.
I have a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And that concludes this public hearing. I'd like to open up our executive session. Gonna make roll call, please.
Mr. Taylor?
Here.
Ms. Hart?
Here.
Ms. Hancock?
Here.
Mr. Bedell? Mr. Bedell, I see that you're on, but you're muted for roll call. Mr. Fagan, Ms. Williams. Mr. Chair, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you very much. Let's go into our executive session, and we have first, should we go through our nominating committee? Can we go ahead and go through that and get that done?
Yes.
Okay. We got a report from February 27th and April 14th, and I think we had went through February 27th before, and we're waiting to go through the April 14th meeting on the nominating nominating committee, and what does the nominating committee have to report on?
We'd like to make a motion for the committee to consider Christopher Bedell as the secretary of our commission.
Okay. You've heard that. Do we have a second? We do. You've heard the recommendation of the nominating committee. All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And Chris, you can vote for yourself, raise a hand. That's okay. And I think from proxy, through proxy, Mr. Fagan had voted yes on that as well, did he not?
We didn't talk about that. Sorry.
I talked to him and he did that. So, that being said, Mr. Bedell is our new secretary of the commission. And hopefully at our next planning meeting, you'll be here in person. Thank you. That being said, let's go to our next business here, which is PC 08-25, Alex David.
Good evening, Commissioners. This is PC 08-25 Alex David, a request for a conditional use permit in the M1 Industrial District to permit a vehicle repair facility on a 2.31 acre tract west of North Warson Road, northwest of the western terminus of Midwest Industrial Boulevard. This is coming to you as a letter of decision. This site is in Mid-North County and is on the aerial bounded in red. On the larger aerial, commissioners can see that the site is at the terminus of Midwest Industrial Boulevard, an area characterized by light industrial uses. This is a request for a CUP in the M1 Industrial District to permit a vehicle repair facility. The petitioner noted during public hearing that they plan to reface and reuse the existing 11-bay warehouse for mid to high-range vehicle repairs with an in-house towing team and in-house parts manufacturing on site. Of note, the petitioner is also requesting occasional events on the site. The preliminary site development plan seen at public hearing is generally sound and shows a plan to reoccupy the approximately 41,000 square foot warehouse building, updating the facade, increasing parking spaces, and landscaping along street frontage. All vehicles to be worked on would be stored indoors. The department is recommending approval of this request. When evaluating a CUP, we consider 4 criteria, and the department finds that the proposal meets these 4 prongs. Because of the highly specialized nature of proposed operations, this use would be of similar intensity to surrounding light industrial uses. Furthermore, all work would take place on the interior of the existing building, and in-house fabrication of parts is permitted by right in the M1 Industrial District. Since the use is relatively unique, it is a net benefit to the community. In sum, the use is consistent with good planning practice. Finally, special event permits are granted by the Department of Transportation and Public Works. At this time, I'd like to request a motion.
You've heard the request for a recommendation by the department. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
Okay, all those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Aye.
And do we have a proxy for Mr.?
Did you want to call a roll call vote?
Yes, I do, please. Let's call roll call.
Mr. Taylor?
Here, yes.
Ms. Hart?
Yes.
Ms. Hancock?
Yes.
Mr. Bedell, I believe, is abstaining. Mr. Fagan?
By proxy, yes.
Thank you. Ms. Williams?
Yes.
Mr. Chair, the motion passes.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Oh, thank you. I was just about to ask you to do that. Now I gotta
We have
find
our
out.
old business letters for approval. PC 10-25, Dennis Sehick.
So this is a request for a conditional use permit in the C2 to permit apartment dwelling units in a development primarily occupied by a commercial use. This is a letter of decision consistent with the commission's approval from the April executive meeting. So I would ask for a motion.
Okay, we heard the recommendation for approval.
So
Do I have a
moved.
motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Ayes have it. Thank you very much. Now we're going to go into correspondence. PC 37-04, Telegraph Property Holdings LLC.
And just while Dorian's walking up there, Mr. Bedell, would you make sure you're unmuting when you cast your vote, please?
Good evening, Commissioners. So tonight we are looking at PC 37-04 for Telegraph Property Holdings LLC. This is an amended C8 ordinance for Ordinance 21920 as amended. They're looking for a pet care facility with overnight boarding. This is on a 9.07 acre lot on the south side of Telegraph Road on the west side of Christopher Drive at their intersection. So here you can see the site is in far South County, again, where Christopher and Telegraph meet. This is the local context map to the right. Here's that map again, zoomed out to see further context surrounded by mostly residential with some commercial along Telegraph. So to begin, the commission first recommended the amended C8 in 2004 to allow for the freestanding restaurant and 2 retail office buildings. That is what's currently there, with the exception of the restaurant. In March of 2007, the commission then adopted an amended ordinance to allow a financial institution in lieu of the restaurant. Later that year, they then adopted another ordinance to allow for 1 restaurant that's greater than 1,500 square feet, and it altered the hours of operation for that restaurant. In 2009, they allowed a second restaurant or bar to exceed 15,000 square feet in area for that property, and today we are meeting for the pet care facility and then the overnight boarding to be an allowed use within this. So here's just the site plans that they've shown us. So for context, the top left image is just the interior layout of their building, and then the bottom right is the exterior fenced-in area that they will have at the rear of their building. Let me go back to the site a little more. It's going to be the lower right corner of the large building in the center, and the fenced-in area will be in the rear of the building there, is what they've currently proposed. We find recommendation for approval. We see it as a reasonable expansion of the permitted uses. We will be asking that there is additional amendments for setback requirements. We would like to see that the outdoor areas not face any public or private right-of-way. So that's why it's in the rear of that building. And then again, the relief areas should be not within 20 feet of any side or rear property line. And I would also like to note that this is over 200 feet from the nearest residential use surrounding it. And I would like to request for a motion.
Okay, do I have a motion?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, are there any questions? I do have one question. The outside pet exercise and relief area, how big is that?
Let me look. I don't know if the dimensions are definitely not legible from my screen, but I believe it's 10 by, what is that?
No, because it's a correspondence item.
600, okay.
Square feet?
Yeah. Sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay. That was my question. We have a motion, we have a second. All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Nays? Ayes have it. And that is approved for the good of the order. St. Louis
So-
County 2050
Yes.
timeline.
In order to get this thing across the finish line, as the commission is aware, we've got a couple of key dates coming up. What is scheduled now is right now is a meeting every Monday in June. But to truly get the commission's work really done, we're recommending a combination of the normal executive meeting scheduled for June 2nd, combining that with the original regular petition-based public hearing on June 9th. That way, those 2 meetings would be coupled together on the 9th, followed by the public hearing pertaining just to the comprehensive plan on June 16th. So that would mean that the items heard at public hearing tonight would be acted upon on June 9th at a combined executive session public hearing. And then there would still be the regular meeting of the Comprehensive Planning Committee, the fourth Monday of the month.
And do we have a meeting this Thursday?
No meeting this week?
Yeah. For some reason, I had it on my calendar.
Hmm.
We had numerous invitations that went out.
No, not this week.
I didn't put it on there because I got
Yeah.
an invite.
Got it. No more meetings this week.
No, not this week. But the intent of the Comprehensive Planning Committee meeting on June 30th will be for the Comprehensive Planning Committee to vote to make a recommendation to the entire commission. And then your first meeting in July, at your executive meeting on July 7th.
That's June, July 7th.
On
Thank you.
July 7th, the intent is that staff would have for you all the items that you need to make your formal recommendation on the comprehensive plan to the county council. So we're moving forward to, it's coming right up, so.
Yeah. So the next time this commission would meet would be there. So we would have the Comprehensive Planning Committee meeting at the end of this month. But the next time the full commission would meet would be June 9th.
Is there any questions? Sandy, Paul?
Can you just email us that what was on the screen?
Sure, we'll send like a upcoming key dates email to everyone to make sure it's all clear. And anything that's not on the calendar already, I'll make sure we send out calendar holds as well.
Well, very good.
Thank you.
Is that it? Okay. I'd like to move for an adjournment. Do I have a motion?
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye. Aye.
Bye.
Ayes have, and we are adjourned until June 9th. Or we're gonna come in at 4:07 and have our executive meeting.
I think that given the length or the number of items we will have, we
At
would.
6 p.m.
We would need,
probably.
yes, at 6 for the executive meeting.
Right. And then-
In lieu of having the session afterwards.
Right.
So I'll put that clear in the email too. It might come from Bennett.
So I'm out of town from the
Me too.
17th
Oh,
to the 2nd of July.
Okay.
But it sounds I can come here the 16th as long as I pack ahead.
Perfect.
Love
I'm
it.
gonna be out of town
Love
for the
it.
June 7th, but I should be able to do virtual.
Okay. All right.
Okay.
I don't know why I still had it unmuted. We've adjourned.